Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another landscape photography vlog. We're back on the shores of Lake Erie again, and we've got open water, which might come as a shock since the last time you guys saw one of my vlogs here, there was ice as far as the eye could see, towering ice volcanoes, which I am now standing directly where they once were. And you can see like these massive chunks of ice here, and then along this whole shoreline here, you know, as they've started to break down and melt away. The destruction left in the wake of warmer weather is actually quite impressive. And today I decided I'd come out sort of last minute, impromptu. I had a little bit of a headache earlier, wasn't feeling too energetic to get outside, but I decided I would, and very delighted to see that out in the water there, and just in general, we have a lot of like miniature icebergs and ice chunks, which I was kind of disappointed that I wasn't seeing this year like I did last year in one of the vlogs we did, but we're actually starting to see them come back, not in the same numbers that we had last year. We got pretty lucky with the amount of ice that got pushed up on this part of the shoreline, but I mean, I'll take this over nothing. And I was here a few days ago, about a week ago actually, and got some pretty cool pictures of some of the larger ice chunks. I think they are really some of my favorite images I've taken so far of like the decay of all of the amazing wintry creations that have been left on the beach, and again tell an integral part of winter's story. But I figured I'd do a little vlog and bring you guys along for the ride. Might be able to fly the drone today. The weather is a lot calmer than I thought it was going to be, which is nice. And I mean, I still can't get over how crazy this is, like just being where the ice volcanoes used to be. You can just see what's left here. It's going to take a long time for the stuff to fully melt away and disappear. Right here you can see some much bigger chunks. They're not looking too great, color wise. I'm not sure why these things turn this color in the latter part of the season. My guess is that it's sand that has been blasted into these things from when they were made, slowly being revealed, not that they're sort of melting back, but pretty much the whole day, right up until like an hour ago, we've been getting snow all day, like a very light dusting, and you can see it's kind of left a fresh coat on some of these formations, which is kind of nice, for me anyways, because that helps with their color a little bit. And I'm just kind of walking out around here, walking through these giant ice formations. I mean, some of these things are about as tall as I am. Really, really cool. And the shoreline has been pushed back, or at least the shoreline feels like it's pushed further back than it normally is, but maybe it's just because it's been so long since I've seen it. But yeah, there's some more ice chunks down there, some cool ones over there. Whole bunch of them congregating just maybe about a mile that way, maybe a little less. But I'm gonna walk back to my camera. Don't want to leave them unattended for too long. This might be a good spot though to set up come sunset, because we do have like what looks like a nice little opening of clouds out there, so that could allow for some really nice light to kind of pop in last minute. And I kind of like some of these formations here to maybe use as foreground elements, or this big angular chunk that's over there looks really, really cool. And as you can see again out there, much bigger congregation of ice chunks of the smaller variety. But I haven't really taken any pictures yet. Let's see what time it is, so I have a time frame idea of how much we got. So it's 6:42. Sunsets at about just after 7:30. So we get about, call it an hour of light left. Plenty of time. Little short excursion today. Yesterday I was going to vlog at this lovely woodland that I discovered back in December, and this place has, it's been a county park for a long time. I've just never gone to it. I think the first time I went there was in the wintertime, and it's got a lovely little gorge there that has some awesome waterfalls and some really nice hemlock groves. It's such a beautiful place, and I got to see it yesterday for the first time after the thaw, and the creeks were gushing. There was waterfalls everywhere, and I think I got some really awesome images from yesterday. I would have vlogged, but I forgot the memory card for this camera here and just decided to scrap it. But I'd love to take you guys back there another time to show you it. It's really a gem. And I'm kind of kicking myself as to, not having gone there sooner. I've been a little guilty of revisiting the same places over and over again. Whoa. Not that there's anything completely wrong with that, as it does help to build a strong sense of familiarity with those places, how they change with the seasons. But I'm actually very excited to add a new place to my sort of like my rotation, if you will, because I can definitely see myself going there many, many more times throughout the years. So, new chapter unlocked, if you will. And again, look at all this. That's pretty much all that is left. These tiny, tiny ice chunks. You can see the sun starting to peek through the clouds up there. I don't know how well you guys will be able to see it, but we might get a decent sunset. I might have just randomly lucked out with the conditions today as far as light goes, which I'm very excited. So I am going to put this camera down for a second, just do a little bit of a observation, maybe try to frame up some compositions, and just kind of wait for the light at this point, because I think the moment that the sun drops behind those clouds over there, we're going to get some pretty nice direct light on all of this ice, and it, with any luck, will start glowing, like a prism. Had that effect last year, so maybe we'll get something similar this year. Fingers crossed, time will tell. Actually, I think I'm going to head down to that far end of the beach over there, as I can access it a lot easier than I can over there. Although there is a lot bigger ice chunks over there. Decisions, and I hate having to make decisions. I hate it. So I made it down to the south end of the beach, and like I said, I was down here about a week ago, and it's just crazy how much more the ice has receded in that short time. I mean, I guess it shouldn't be surprising, like, it's been pretty warm, the ice is gonna melt, but I mean, I didn't expect it to go back this quickly. Now I do spot a lone icicle out there, iceberg, and the sun is about to go below the clouds. So I'm thinking about maybe working a composition with that. But I'm also thinking about how I want to go down to the other northern end of the beach, as there's way more ice out there. Though my only concern is I don't know how much access I will have to it, because down here a lot more of the beach is exposed, and that's really not the case up there. So I don't know if I'll be able to find an access point to walk out in front of the old icy threshold where the ice volcanoes used to be. So that might actually prevent me from exploring a lot of that stuff. So I'm kind of back and forth right now on what I want to do, but I just really like this one lone iceberg in the way that it's catching the light, so I'm going to try and set up for that real quick. So I'm just going to show you guys a quick little B-roll clip of the scene I just tried to photograph. I don't think it's going to be anything too special, but yeah, can't always hit a home run with every composition. I think my curiosity is going to get the best of me, and I think I'm going to head down onto that other side of the beach, because right now I know the light is probably going to get a lot better pretty quickly, and judging by the clouds on the horizon and the distance, we're probably only going to have a really short window. I don't know what you guys can see out there, probably not well at all, but there's like this other band of clouds out there, and the sun's going to, just now like it is dropping in from the top layer, have a brief window of light, and then it's going to go back behind some more clouds where it's eventually going to set. So I really don't want to squander this very small opportunity of light we're going to have. I'm going to take a few more brackets here with the harsher light. Yeah, I am bracketing in aperture priority all the way down to -2. So -2, -1 in base, just because I do not want to blow out any of those highlights. They are very, very intense. And there, now you can see probably the light on my face there. Yeah, now we're getting that light. So I'm gonna move back that way, because I think that is probably where I'll find some better. Probably where I'm gonna find some better stuff. All right, so admittedly, I'm a little scatterbrained right now. Oh, the conditions are so crazy. And getting to these vantage points. So I've watched this part over a few times, and I cannot help but notice the trees in the background bathing in that really intense light. And this might just be hindsight, but I really do wish I would have maybe turned around to spend some time focusing on them. But I think I was instead too tunnel visioned on the sort of the scenes before me, and still wanting to capture those types of wintry scenes on the lake that I had been capturing the past couple months. So I ultimately overlooked them. That's really just a reminder, is that anytime you have some sort of epic lighting going on or epic conditions, don't forget to look behind
it's gonna
you.
work. I just used kind of the edge of the ice here as a frame to kind of frame in the some of those icebergs out there as they were catching some light with the epic sky in the background. Yeah, getting over here was a little difficult. Look at all these like pucks of ice, and some of them break apart, like the ones I'm standing on. Some of them didn't, so it was a little tricky. I was trying not to break my ankles coming over here. I've got this camera in my hand, I got the other camera in my other hand, and yeah, now the light is now the light's disappearing, which does suck a little bit. But we might have another shot at this tomorrow, because I was gonna go back to that woodland I mentioned earlier tomorrow for like a sunset shoot. But it is supposed to be a little bit cloudier in the evening, so that might just kind of push that further back to another day. So maybe I'll come back here tomorrow, I'm not sure. But yeah, just showing you guys a little B-roll, kind of so you can see what I was talking about shot-wise. Nothing too crazy. Maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't. But I mean, regardless of light, a lot of these scenes here of this sort of mixed match of colors, these like jagged ice formations, they look really cool, honestly, and could make for a decent picture in of their own. See some nice light over there. Yeah. I'm trying to think, maybe if I get lower to the ground here and get rid of the lake in the background, it could maybe make for some cool sort of like standalone shots of this, what's left of the ice anyways. So I'm gonna try that now. And yeah, I mean, I don't think we'll get another window of light here, which really sucks. But I am still gonna head down to the other side of the beach, explore what I can, and maybe that'll help me set up for tomorrow for things to revisit. Okay, so I managed to climb around, or I should say climb over one of the ice walls here, where I surprisingly did not keep like slipping through or sinking through the snow, and made it out past. So it is good to know that right there's a little access point. A little sketchy considering how thin it looks on the backside, and that's another reason why you're not supposed to walk on the ice volcanoes, or you shouldn't. And if you do so with caution, because they are pretty much hollow on the inside, as these remains kind of show. And at the very bottom, there's usually water, or there is water. Then you can just fall in there, and then you're stuck in freezing cold water. And then after that, you pretty much know what happens next, right? Hypothermia, so on and so forth. But yeah, I really like these big chunks of ice here, and just how angular they are. Looks so cool. I feel like I'm in Iceland or Norway or something right now. It's just really cool to see all this stuff. So much different than last year. And I know I kind of missed this part last year. I was a little late because we did get a bit of a quicker thaw. But this year the ice volcanoes are a lot bigger, so they're taking a lot longer to break apart, and when they do break apart, they're breaking apart into much bigger pieces. I mean, it's just so freaking cool to see all this. The only thing that sucks right now is the wind. Very cold. And probably should have dressed a little warmer for today. But it is what it is. I'll be alright. Won't be here much longer anyways, so I'm gonna set up for another comp. Some of this stuff here, and like I said, I'll probably have to come back to this stuff, and hopefully we can get back to it in time with some good light and before it all melts or drifts away. And yeah, that's the plan. Fingers crossed. A lot of stuff right now super time sensitive in this transitionary period between winter and spring. We're getting a sun pillar out over the lake there. I took some video with my big camera, so you guys can probably see it better there, but we're getting a pretty epic sun pillar over the water right now, and that's just basically from ice crystals in the air catching that light from the sunset, and it looks pretty wild. This camera is not really doing it too much justice, but this one should. Yeah, it's just like this really red vertical column of light. I saw one a few years ago here, back in February, I think. It was like one of the first photos I was really happy with, like right when I started getting back into landscape photography. And that looks pretty epic. That might actually warrant just a couple photos of its own. You have to stop the B-roll here to grab a few pictures, just because the clouds out there are catching some nice side light. Don't know how well Don't know how well this is gonna turn out as like a standalone photo, but time will tell. Just one of those things I'd rather like have a picture of than not. I mean, now it's like really prominent from all the way up from the very edge of the horizon all the way up to that layer of clouds there. Really cool. That is pretty neat. Again, I don't know how good it's gonna make for a standalone image, but it's one of those things where I'd rather, you know, take a picture of it and not do anything with it than think back and be like, man, I wish I would have just taken a few seconds to grab a few photos. So just covering my bases here. Also looking for an exit point, which I think will be right here. Won't have to hurdle over a big wall of ice. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It is absolutely freezing though, and I definitely underdressed for today. That wind is biting through me, even with this rain jacket / windbreaker on and a puff jacket on underneath. I am freezing. So I think I'm going to call it quits here. I don't know if I really got anything super great today. I try to maybe frame up one more thing here. I don't know if I got anything super great. That's all right. Can come back another day. This ice isn't going anywhere that quickly. Should have at least maybe another couple weeks of this until it's all completely gone. So yeah. That's going to do it for the short little impromptu vlog. Hope you guys enjoy. Thanks for tagging along with me, and I'll see you guys around.